Hello and welcome to everybody to today's viewing of the webinar, where we'll be discussing how rapidly industries are adapting to game-changing technologies like additive manufacturing or 3D printing as a highly innovative solution for design and manufacturing processes. And how, in order to foster confidence in additive manufacturing technology, it is necessary to not only adopt and implement the new standards for additive manufacturing, processes, test procedures, quality parameters, fundamentals, and terminology to ensure quality and business optimization. My name is Tarek Hassanen, and I'm the product strategist for standards for the SAI Global team, and I'm based in Sydney. I'm pleased to be joined by Jeff Griffith, who is the head of sales for the Americas. Before we begin, I'd like to just run through some quick housekeeping. The webinar is in listen-only mode. The webinar will be recorded and distributed to all attendees at a later date. The webinar will run for approximately 30 minutes. During this session, you will have the opportunity to view a live demo. There'll be a Q&A session at the very end as well. If you have any questions, please type them into the question box on the side control panel. The agenda for today's discussion: we will explore the industry challenges today and how 3D printing addresses these. And we will further explore what does this imply to the key engineering and manufacturing industries. We will talk about the challenges it will pose and how standards will play a pivotal role in ensuring quality across all aspects of manufacturing and the supporting business areas, and acting as an enabler for the organization to leverage 3D printing. We'll cover the progress and standards and the key publishers, and look how SAI Global can be your trusted partner by enabling you to adapt to these changes in both the industry standards and processes, while still maintaining quality and minimizing disruption to your organization and your own processes. Finally, Jeff Griffith, the head of sales for America, will provide a demonstration of the I2I platform, which is one of the SAI Global Standards Management solutions that is helping organizations leverage standards across all areas of the product lifecycle, and an enabler for managing the transition to this new way of manufacturing. So as we look at the common industry challenges, across almost every industry, the speed of R&D and innovation is increasingly being looked at as a lever for competitive advantage. You see this resulting in new models being released from every 2 to 3 years normally to almost every year, from electronics to automotive and everything in between. This requires further reduction in time spent during every aspect of the product lifecycle, with an increased focus on the time to market. There's always been a gap in what engineers want to create and the ability to manufacture them. This is primarily due to the limitation of current manufacturing technology, such as the subtractive manufacturing with CNC machines and the raw materials used. Engineers typically take this into consideration during the design, but as cost, size, and other factors become more and more important, the market is looking for different ways to make these designs a reality. The one-part-fits-all approach doesn't work for some industries where the end application requires customization, such as the medical devices industry. Many customers still keep asking to quote those 100,000-piece inquiries. Somehow, that seems to be the only price per part that they see. It is almost unheard of to see one of these top-sized order quantities show up today on an actual release. The shrinkage of actual deliverable or release quantity impacts manufacturing in several ways. Being unable to recover setup time on the smaller release quantities is certainly near the top of that list. Managing and reducing setup times are the only ways to deal with this challenge, as long as jobs being quoted below the cost of recovering capital. Even under the best of circumstances, raw materials represent a near constant headache for manufacturers. With another recession looming and a global trade war growing more intense, volatile raw material prices have posed distinct challenges throughout 2019 and promise to do so in the foreseeable future. As input costs for raw materials can vary widely, this means that it's important to assess the material composition of each product and stay tuned into price volatility for the relevant materials, another avenue where customers are looking for alternative solutions to this challenge. And with the advent of the Industry 4.0, As OEM and manufacturers aim to have more smart and integrated systems to optimize the manufacturing process, the industry looks to leverage the latest technologies where 3D printing is seen as a key component of the new ecosystem. 3D printing is seen as a major part of the solution and a new hope to address a lot of these challenges. Requiring a faster pace of innovation means a faster way to design products and test it in market. 3D printing, as you can see in the Forrester report on the left-hand side of the screen, has been proven to help to do this. Whether it be in the initial stages of design, where you're analyzing the dimensions of a product and therefore using a cheaper material, or functional prototyping with materials that will be used in the final product, 3D printing is proving itself to be the tool of choice. The automotive and aerospace industry have used 3D printers for tooling, fixtures, and gauges. This is possible with lower cost plastic extrusion machines that some might think are nothing more than a hobbyist tool. However, the lines between low-cost printers and industrial tools are becoming blurred. For example, some organizations have found fused deposition modeling, FDM, save time and money when making custom tooling and fixtures used in production, reducing previously outsourced processes which had a lead time of 4 to 6 weeks, from drawing release to receipt of a finished fixture to now a day or two. Those examples had fixtures used to cost in excess of $2,000 in the past and can now be made for a couple of $100. This is also cost savings as now it reduces the amount of skilled labor needed during the manufacturing process. In the medical devices industry, the need for personalization is almost paramount in some applications. There is a medical devices company that now prints 3D prints hips for hip replacements from scans. They are doing this for hospitals all around the area. The increased cost of raw materials means that a lot of manufacturers and OEMs are looking to the advancements of material sciences and looking for alternative materials that are not just cheaper, but can still maintain similar or better properties for the product and its application. Not only are traditional materials such as metals are being 3D printed, but all these alternative materials and composites as well. The ability to print on demand means as your organization innovates, the need to store parts also gets reduced as these can now be printed on demand, saving time, money, and space in warehouses and factories. So when we're looking at the downstream considerations, 3D printing production consists of a complex networks of variables, from more raw materials to design optimization and manufacturing processes, which in turn require interaction between an infrastructure of software and hardware. Each of these stages must be monitored, assessed, and controlled to ensure the repeatability and reliability of 3D printed parts, whilst avoiding a costly trial and error approach. The 3D printing is different in a lot of the areas of the product lifecycle. Therefore, tracking the changes to applicable standards and understanding its impact is needed. Due to the ability to create or manufacture on demand for specifications that may be custom or personalized, highly regulated industries such as medical, automotive, aerospace, and defense are looking at changing the definitions to adopt these changes. For example, the International Medical Device Regulators Forum, the IMDRF, in late 2018, which divided personal medical devices into the subcategories of custom-made, patient-matched, or adaptable. The new definition of patient-matched allocates responsibility of the device to the manufacturer and applies to devices that are matched to a patient's anatomy with a specified design envelope, like in the case of the 3D printing of the hips. So as you can see, adopting these new changes is not only the concern of engineers within your organization, but also those in quality control, compliance, reg affairs, operations, and legal. Going to a central source to knowing the changes and collaborating with the affected business units and stakeholders just mentioned should be a primary consideration in any organization. Ensuring you have the right systems, processes, and standards to manage this change whilst maintaining compliance and reducing risk is crucial to adopting 3D printing. In manufacturing, standards are often essential as they outline the parameters that must be met to deliver a quality product. Raw materials, machines, tooling, equipment operators and engineers, suppliers and manufacturing processes itself all need standards and a mechanism for qualifying or certifying against those standards in order to make parts within the requisite quality and reducing overall risk. Standards are particularly important for this new technology because they provide the foundational element on which the industry is built. Today, quality parts can certainly be made via additive manufacturing or 3D printing, but widely adopted standards would help the quality over long production runs. Standards are what will enable the 3D printing to scale and reach new levels of efficiency. With 3D printing, there are more factors to consider for conventional manufacturing. Digital design standards, interoperability standards, layer-by-layer material or build process parameters, microstructure strength, porosity, and post-processing or curing standards are among the many standards that are out there. In a complex industry with all these variables at play, 3D printing standards will provide the guidebook for your organization going forward. The key areas that standards will benefit the organizations using 3D printing are risk mitigation, greater efficiencies, improved repeatability, and more consistent quality and regulatory compliance. So where are we now? Well, collaborative efforts are being made by standards development organizations and other bodies to build a comprehensive set of standards for additive manufacturing. In addition to these, to tackle standardization in metal additive manufacturing for aerospace, Global Engineering Standards Association, SAI International, has recently issued 4 new PBF standards. As powder metallurgy is prominent in 3D printing, back in January in 2018, ASTM International announced its first proficiency testing program in additive manufacturing. These testing programs allow labs to compare their performance with others, ultimately helping all the participants improve their performance. The AMPM, or the program, will help labs measure physical properties of powders used in 3D printing. AMPM is built on the globally recognized standards and test methods developed in recent years by ASTM International and its Committee on Additive Manufacturing Technologies. The road to standardization for emerging industries and technologies continually changes as better methods are defined for best practice and tend to be mandated by regulators where safety is a concern. I'd like to introduce Jeff Griffith, who will walk you through I2Y and its benefits to your organization, and how SAI Global partners with organizations to leverage standards across their business. Thanks, Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Tarek. Appreciate the introduction. We are going to take a look at our I2Y standards management platform. The standards management platform is we got a technical snafu. There we go. It's a dynamic database that organizations can access over 1.2 million standards from over 300 publishers globally. It provides organizations a way to manage and the content that is critical to their business. If we were to put it in the context of the webinar in 3D printing, it will provide. I would like to confirm that if you can't see my screen, you should be seeing a SAI Global at the top with our standards management platform. I just got an error message. There we go. Within this platform, you have users across your entire organization, whether it's at one location or you're a global organization that has multiple locations across the world. They all could access this platform to be able to search for the content that's relevant to your business. And there's multiple ways that we organize and manage that content and making sure that your organization is being notified and alerted to new developments within the standards that are applicable to your business, as well as standards that are changing, and which is a critical piece of making sure that we are compliant as an organization in providing our customers and our products with the relevant information and the standards that are applicable to them and the regulatory requirements that you may or may not be required to follow. We'll do a quick demo on how we search for documents, how we organize it, and what's available to you as an organization to view and actually manage and comment on the standards that you're working with. This is our landing page, and within that landing page, we have many search options that you can look for. You can search just for a broad search, put in a document number, and it will scrub against the 1.2 million records. We can put in keywords. We can, if we want to narrow that scope out of the 1.2 million records, we can search for specific publishers. Now, in 3D printing, as mentioned in the webinar, ASTM is on the forefront of standards for the discipline. And if we wanted to narrow our scope of search within ASTM content, we could do that. And from here, if we want to do, and we're not sure what we're looking for, if we just wanted to start, we can format some text. There we go, and we'll see what the results. It's going to rub against all ASTM documents, anything that contains the keywords 3D imaging. And we see that we have results here. And to view any one of these records, we would click into the actual record itself, and it'll bring up the information that's relevant to you. As an organization, what your users have across all records within the platform, you're going to get a summary information. All of this content is available to, again, any record within the entire database. If you needed access to the full text version of a document, we provide that in one of two ways. One would be on a network license, and a network license would be access to those. It's really relevant for organizations that have multiple locations, and we have multiple users that need access to the same content. When on a network license, those users across those locations have the ability to view, print, download those standards included in the network license as often as needed. Outside of a network license, we provide, you have the ability to buy single copy versions of standard via PDF or hard copy. And part of the solution, really, it's building an alert and a notification service around the content that's relevant to you. Again, any of these standards that we could click into and take a look at. And as we do that, you'll see that everything that I have on there, it is relevant to, we're searching within current standards, and that's part of the search criteria. There's multiple ways that you can search for the content that is relevant, and if you're looking for the most up-to-date, we can put that default, making sure that everything that we're running against is the most recent version. When we have a document that's part of a network license, viewers and users can view the document online. That's within a PDF viewer. They also have the ability to, if you wanted, if this is a relevant standard, and this one's only 4 pages, so it's very easy to go through. Many of these are 40 to 50 to 300 pages long, and if there is certain content that is specific to what your reference, you can easily bookmark a page, and that becomes a hyperlink for you. And we can also add a note if needed for your reference. Save that content, and that information is now available for you to reference as you go into the actual page. If I wanted to download the document, I could do that from here, and I can save that on my machine and view it later in a PDF format. When we have multiple versions of a document, we can take a look, and we'll see that we We can provide access to current. We could also provide access to historical versions, as long with red lines. And red lines are critical when we're trying as an organization to make sure that we are able to identify what has changed in the standard and how does that apply to our business. What are the resources needed to make any changes in our process to make sure that we are compliant with the most recent versions of these documents that are critical to us. We also organize that information specific to your organization by creating tags. And tags will group a list of standards for a specific product, a specific process, a specific department. And as we're creating those tags, they become searchable records within the database specific to your user community. In a sense, it's building out it starts to build out a table of contents in a way that users can view and search for information specific to your company and speaking your language. In this case, I just made it a default as an R&D, so we have an R&D tag. And if we wanted to take a look at those other documents that are part of that R&D tag, click on the tag and they're listed here. And if there's another one that's relevant to us, do that. And again, all the information is available for your users to view. Now, outside of that, if this is information is a standard that's critical to our business, certainly we want to be notified and get an alert if anything has changed. The entire database, this application provides an alert service, a notification service for any record, really the 1.2 million records we have in here. Anything that's relevant, we can add to, and you have the ability to add to a watch list to be updated. And when there is a change, the alerts will be housed within the platform itself, detailing that information. But we also will get an email alert notification that will list any and all the documents that have changed within the collection of standards that you have on your watch list. And I'll tell you what's the reason for the change. And that allows you to make sure that you're not missing anything, any critical update. And again, it's about the impact to your business when those standards are changing, and you need to do your due diligence to make sure that any of those changes within the standard are affecting your business and your products, and the notification is a critical piece of that. The second part would be being able to access a red line version to make to really view and save time in that gap analysis and making sure that our go-to-market with our products is done in a timely manner, ultimately saving organizations revenue and on both the human capital and when we're going out to market for our products and our regulatory requirements. And this platform is also very user-friendly, number one, and we are key on providing a very transparent access for your company, and it allows for usage reports, so you know which documents are being requested, which documents are being accessed by whom across your organization, and that allows you to manage the content that's critical to your business. This is a standards management platform, and the management part, it's very difficult to manage something if we don't know what's being used. Everything that is viewed within the platform on an admin level will be available to you to evaluate, analyze, and then make decisions on how we want to manage this content, and that's included in the subscription moving forward. And again, the platform, it is a solution that, as we work with customers and we learn about business processes, we develop a solution that will be specific to you. And the end game is a partnership, really, where we are providing not just access to a database and standards, but really a workflow that is creating efficiencies across all disciplines within your organization when accessing these standards, and making sure that all users have access to the information that's relevant to them, and your organization on an administrative level has full visibility into all of the users that are accessing, and making sure that we're all compliant in what we're doing across all departments that are accessing the platform. We'll pause for any questions from the audience. All right, well, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for your attendance at our webinar today. If we can assist you moving forward, please reach out to us, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.